good evening, good morning, red folks. This man always George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, today is a special day, especially for my community. Today is Juneteenth, is the day we celebrate the freedom of slavery for my people. As you know, I am a son of sharecroppers, true story, not a lie, and that goes back to those times of slavery. So, folks, this is a kind of, it's not really sudden. This was supposed to be planned, but then stuff happened. And then, you know what? I'm as you know, and often I say, I never have a plan. I'm just a dog chasing cars. I never do when I get one. So, folks, we have here a lovely lady, and her name is Alli Matson, and Alli is a future bodybuilder. As you know, she just recently hanged out with her dear friend, IB Pro physique competitor Shannon Leister. And, Shannon just made her pro debut at the Toronto Super Show just last weekend. And she was hanging with her. And now she's planning on making her plans to make her bodybuilding debut later on this summer. So we thank Alli and welcome. And we thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it, George.
Not a problem. So this is a question I ask you ladies. What got you started in the sport, as I call it, muscle and masculinity? Please share.
Goodness. I have been fascinated with bodybuilding since I was a little kid. Pumping Iron was probably the first movie that I saw that made me really, really interested in it. And my aunt at that time was married to a semi-pro football player who was very, very muscular, and I was infatuated with that musculature. And he would always pose with me, and I loved it. I loved flexing and just fell in love with that. And that carried over throughout my younger years, throughout high school. And then when I graduated high school, I joined a women's only gym, and we had two bodybuilding competitors in there. And I was too intimidated to talk to them, but I stared at every single routine that they ever performed in that gym, every exercise, every rep, every set, and mimicked that, wrote everything down, and then tried to emulate everything that they did. So it started early for me, my infatuation with it and just love of it and desire to want to be in it. I just never, I was always an athlete. But just never thought that this was something that I could do. So it's been something that has been with me forever, but now I'm just really exploring it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pumping Iron is one of the most popular documentaries on bodybuilding. Next to it is Pumping Iron 2, especially for us guys who is, I gotta meet my crime alley. I am muscle and slow. That's the movie that kind of really got me into it, because people like Bev Francis, Laura Crevel, and what was in that movie with Bev Francis, Richard McLeish, Carla Dunlap, several amazing ladies. I remember Pumping Iron, like that scene in the back of the bus with Arnold and Lou when they take off the jackets, and imagine you had a little Frank Columbo between them. That would be funny. But that's everybody gets the sport because of what they admire about it, especially with your he was married to your aunt, that was your uncle, so being very muscular and fit. And I think little girls find something interesting about changing aspects of their bodies, because the idea of women muscle is not very feminine.
Right. Yeah, not very feminine. I hear that a lot. I get mixed feedback for sure, but some people are so much in admiration of it, and some people just aren't turned on by it at all, and those are not my people. But I have gotten an awful lot of feedback over the last few years, specifically since I've developed so much. So it's interesting.
That's the thing, is that I think when people see something that's out of their idea of the norm, or out of their comfort zone, they kind of get a little like, especially the everyday man. The everyday man says, chick, you trying to be like me, trying to be a man. No, you found something that you like, and you like the idea of the sport, the training, the what's involved with the consistency, the determination, the discipline that really sets somebody's goals. I mean, not everybody can do this because it takes
Absolutely.
a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I am a very disciplined person. I tend to fall into a routine for something, and maybe it's the ADHD where I, hyper focus on something. But when I fall in love with something, I am in it, and I am not a quitter by any stretch. So to get invested in something and learn what you can about it, and then start practicing it, and then continually improve. I think it's the draw for me is that continual improvement and being able to prove to myself, oh, you can do this. And that has always, I'm a very competitive person. I love challenges. And this is a challenge that I have with myself to see, not just how much weight I can lift, because I've done the powerlifting thing, to some extent, but how I can move that weight and how I can then shape my body by moving that weight. And that is fascinating to me. It's fascinating.
So you did powerlifting, and that's, I think a lot of ladies have to just transition from that sport. I've heard a few ladies who have done it, who are IFB pros or just who got into bodybuilding because of certain things about it. They have some similarities, but with powerlifting, it's more about strength compared to bodybuilding, where it's more about presentation. So when you started powerlifting?
So I got into that probably 2018, and I have not competed in powerlifting. I'll put that out there. I just really enjoyed the process of it. And again, it was being able to lift more than I thought that I could, and just get out of my head and just get into my body and be able to explore what proper form looks like and how to lift certain weights and bracing and all of those things. So it has been, I really enjoyed it. And I still find myself doing things where, I'm going for PRs instead of actually slowing down and doing pause reps. And my coach has to remind me of that all the time. We're not powerlifting, we're bodybuilding. But it was really hard on the joints. And I'm old. I'm actually old. So I decided to step away from that and move into bodybuilding because oddly, it's a little softer on my body. But I went through a small stint with CrossFit also. I did not compete, but I enjoyed the process of it. But those darn EMOMs, they got me like every minute on the minute. Nah, no, we're not. We're just going to slow down and focus on not getting hurt. I am prone to hurting myself. It's just something that I do. So doing things very quickly, not for Alli. Not for Alli.
I can tell you, I'm also old. In another few months, I'm going to hit my 52nd birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, I got two bad knees like Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Nice.
I got a pacemaker. I got it when I was 39 after I had my first heart attack. I used to lift weights when I was in high school. When I used to play football, I was like one of the strongest guys in my team. Again, I grew up a country boy. We used to do things like chop wood, work in the fields. Yes. And I remember, this is a true story. And I know some people talk about saying, man, it's not true, but it's true. I remember we were doing bench presses. I was 16. By the time I was 16, I was already bench pressing 350. And wow. I had one of the guys on the team ask me, he said, George, yes, he said, what? He said, you ever had any? By having any? He said, no. I said, well, son, you cock strong. That's the terminology. Yeah. We have none. Y'all with me. We get some, we get weak. We like, we like Samson, cut right. Hair. So, but you ever heard of high rocks? That's very popular now.
Yep.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Very popular. So much more of a running focus then. And I had my little stint as a runner also. I did some races, and I actually started training for a triathlon because I did some 5Ks and I was like, let me start training for a 10K. And then that was just boring. Like the distance was boring. So I thought, well, let me switch over and start training for a triathlon. I was living in Florida at the time, and sprint triathlons are the way to go to break into the sport. And it's, so nice there most of the year. You can train outside all the time. And I was training for that. And while I was running, I snapped the tendon underneath my second toe. And that was the end of that whole experience. So I have come back and I have done some running. A couple of years ago, I was running, probably a 5K, 3-4 days a week. But it's just too much on my poor little foot that has been surgically repaired multiple times. So we're going to stay away from the running part. And High Rocks looks like a lot of fun, but there's a lot more running to it. So probably not coach approved at this point.
Yeah. Well, what do you do for cardio? Because, you can't run too much.
Exactly. So cardio has been a struggle through this prep and through my last 2 cuts. It's been difficult because the last cut, I was doing a lot of time on the stairs and a lot of time on incline treadmill. And it was so much pounding that I ended up with an overuse injury in my foot and was in a boot for 6 weeks. So this prep, we decided not to do any incline treadmill and any stairs, which is tough because that's what helps bring my legs in for sure. but I have done a ton of elliptical at a high level, high incline, but it's no impact. So elliptical, rowing, bike, that's where it's at for me. And that's where it has to be. And my coach is like, God, I wish you could get on the stairs. I'm like, buddy, I wish I could get on the stairs too. But, you know, my foot is not okay with that. So being an old head, you got to just adapt and make do with what you can. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to bring these legs in before August. We'll see.
I remember a while back, I went to me and my one of my older sisters went to Atlanta. My oldest niece lived down there, her and my great nephew, and she stayed in a 2-story. Again, I said again, I got two baddies that Stone Cold sees often. I stayed in the spare room upstairs, and I had to learn to like, oh my god, I lived most of my life. I lived on one story. So we had stairs we go down the porch, but nothing to go up in the house. You just go on,
Right.
I remember I worked out with a friend of mine, Christine Ware, and me, Christine, we did an interview. We met when I went to Tampa, and we hanged out. We did leg day. I hung in pretty good, but then the next day, I felt I felt like the episode of Chappelle's Show when Eddie Murphy beats Dave Chappelle's leg is Rick James says, "What about y'all should give your niggas money?" I'm like, oh,
yeah. The stairs can be tough, and I'm a very active person. I actually just got a dog 2 days ago, so we have been walking an awful lot. And yesterday I looked at my watch. I'm like, that's 23,000 steps today. So, I'm very active. I usually walk quite a bit. It's just that incline treadmill and that stair mill, super super tough on the foot. And I bought new shoes and orthotics and all. It doesn't matter. So we're just gonna stick with the cardio that works, and that seems to be elliptical, bike, and rower right now. And the ski erg is always great too.
Yeah, I think they do that. That's good. It's just to be adapting with your injury. That's one thing you have to do. Like again, be aware of your surroundings. So, as you know, she's friends with Shannon Leister. I put a little picture they sent me. Here they are together at the Toronto Super Show. And how long do you know Shannon?
So I've been training at my gym for about 4 years. So I would say probably 4 years. Yep.
Yeah, here together. Remember the episode of Designing Women when Anthony said like, "There they go, Big Hoss and Little Flossie."
That sounds right. Yeah, it's so funny. Like she's a little bitty, and I'm not super tall. I'm 5'7" and change, but she's not 5'7" and change. And I've probably got 50 pounds on her. So it's interesting to see the two of us together because we both have a lot of muscle, but it's two very different frames.
Yeah, well, I'm 5'7" and some change, and I think with women, it's always gonna be different build. Like shorter girls can really, put on, especially the naturally leaner, their muscles are gonna be different. Women who are a little bit taller, you can have more mass. It takes a lot more time
Right.
to put on that mass compared to women who you were there at the Toronto Super Show. You look at someone like Shannon Leister. There's Bronco Djokovic, who's competing this weekend at the Imperial. She's short and she's built like a tank.
Yes.
I mean, there's some amazing women in the sport. Is there anybody you pay attention to the sport that you follow? You are inspired by other than Shannon, by their ethic, their bodies, their overall aesthetics as a competitor?
So Hunter Henderson is one of my very favorites. And I have been following her for quite some time. And I actually reached out to her on Instagram and she responded. And I was like, oh my God, you're so busy. Like, how do you have time? She's so kind. She just has an incredible work ethic. She is incredibly strong. And the conversion from the powerlifting to the bodybuilding, that's so nice to see. She works an awful lot. And she is just so very dedicated to her craft. So, yes, she's definitely one that I look up to quite a bit.
Well, I'm a fan of Miss Henderson. She actually, this was one thing about her. She turned pro I would say about 4 years ago. I was 2021, 5 years ago, and she was like in her early 20s, I believe. And she was coming away from the powerlifting world. Turned pro within just debuted, and her first show was in Omaha. Then got a pro card at the USA's. Then made her pro debut at Tampa. Got second, but then I think with a lot of things, especially young people, your mind goes like, I didn't do as well as I should have done, and she took a step back, but came back, Finally got her first Olympic qualification a few years ago at the it was the Titan Grand Prix, but that show is gone now. And then she got another qualification at the Atlanta Pro. She's a impressive young lady. I follow her. I would love to have her as a guest. Talk to her, get her experience. I even met her friend Brianna, who made her along with Tampa. Her and her boyfriend Joey. I met him. There's a picture of us. You can go to my IG. The picture of us standing together, me and Joey, with short cats, and we do that. Awesome. She also powerlifter, and then making her switch. But one person I'm a big fan of, and I call her my girlfriend, and that is Andrea Shaw.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Oh my God! This year she with her partner Cindy Gillen at the Triple O, which was just a few months ago. Andrea is just so beautiful, and her look is just, she brought a certain level to it. Especially, I think a lot of ladies who have interviewed her, who know her or who have met her, say that she's a great person, and I agree with that, because I'm gonna say this quick story. A friend of mine, my friend is Eunice. And Eunice runs her own company called Bad Rap. Her partner JoJo, they run Bad Rap. It's a show. It's a company where they do a lot of apparel and stuff, and also they sponsor women in bodybuilding. I got to finally meet her in person last summer. I went to Tampa. Here we are together, and that's the gentleman in the middle. If you recognize him,
yep,
yeah, that's David. I would never in my life get to meet a man like David Lee Roth if I didn't go down there and help my friend. That's awesome. She's my sister, Anyway, her company Bad Rap, she sent me this hat.
Nice. Yeah, for them. That's awesome.
And what she did was it about a few years ago, right? It was right before I think it was my 49th birthday. And she said, George, I've sent something in the mail. I said, what is it? Well, it says, it's this. It's issue of muscle development. Now I can go, I got a bunch of them. I used to collect them when I was younger. But what makes this so special for me is when she met Andrea at the 2023 Olympic when they had it in Orlando.
Okay.
And Andrea
signed it. Oh, that's awesome.
You keep telling me you need to put it in a case or something. I say, no, I love it. Hug it. Call it. That tells me, it tells me this really inspires me, because when I started this, it was because I was taking care of my mom. She was sick for a long time. And then I needed something because a friend of mine mentioned to me, said, well, do something you like to talk about. I said, well, I talk about women in bodybuilding. I'm a fan. Mm-hmm. And started doing this content. And then after she passed, I said, you know what? I don't really have anything else but for me. So I said, you know what? Let me start getting into this and doing interviews and reach out to ladies like yourself. I love to have Andrea on here. I don't know. I probably act like a fool if I do.
No. That's so great. That would be awesome.
We have a comment here. Shout out to my man, Lawrence Perkins. Shout out to him. Thank you for coming through. Lawrence says, good evening, Alli, Matson, and George. Good evening to you, brother. Thank you for coming through. Because yeah. So now that you're prepared for your first bodybuilding show, when is the show, and what's the division you're going to compete in?
I will be competing in women's bodybuilding, and yes, we initially thought physique, and then as I went through the off season, my coach was like, I don't know, I feel like you might be women's bodybuilding, and I was like, no, those are the big girls, like those are the real, like legit. He's like, you're a big girl, like, you need to accept that at some point. I'm like, all right. And then as we started this prep, he was like, yeah, we're not even going to do double divisions. Like you're women's bodybuilding. So that's the division. And the plan right now is for the Battle Royale, which is August 1st. However, the Cutler Classic is also August 8th. And my oldest son is going to be away at his Army ROTC training in San Antonio, and won't be there for the August 1st show. And I just realized that the Cutler Classic is the 8th. And I thought, well, maybe we'll switch to that one. So the potential exists that we'll do the August 8th show, because I would love for him to be able to see me. So, and he would love to be able to not miss it. So
is he aspiring to become an officer into the military?
He will be an officer in the military. Yep. So he's currently at Auburn University. He's about to enter his senior year. And when he completes his senior year, he'll go directly into the Army as an officer, and he'll be in the Nurse Corps.
Oh, yeah. Well, for anybody, I had my oldest niece and my youngest nephew serve. For anybody, I don't say thank you for your service because you're not providing a service. As a citizen, I appreciate sacrifices they are making on behalf of
Mhm.
us of this country. Because thank you is never enough. If you're a nurse, yes, you do providing service. You're a doctor, you're providing service. Just while ago this afternoon, the trash man came in my trash. He's providing a service. But when you're in the military, when you often sometimes you have to deal with enemies, foreign domestics, it's not a service. You are making a sacrifice, not just your life, your freedom,
Absolutely.
anything else. And this is your oldest. How many babies you got?
I got two. So he is my oldest, and he was born on my birthday. He is the spitting image of me. He is a Capricorn like me. He has the same personality as me. Yeah, so he is my oldest. And then Ben is 18, and Ben just graduated from high school and is preparing to enter college in the fall. So I am an empty nester.
Oh, my mom wish she could say that. I was still with her till I was till she passed. My mom was like I said, as boys, our mom was our best, or as our truly our first woman. You are, and it was a gift that God gave you that you gave your child on your birthday. That was great. I remember one time. This is a true story. I had three older sisters. I had one of them passed. I had an older brother. He's gone, and also my father had a son and also a daughter after my parents broke up.
Mhm.
And my mom had to raise six of us plus two grandkids. And you know what? I remember this was me and two of my older sisters and my younger brother were all born in November. And what she did was one year, it was like I think I was 12, my brother was 9, my sisters were in their I think they were in their early 20s. She bought two cakes. And the lady asked her, say, "Ma'am, you have two sets of twins?" "No, I got four kids born in November." So that's precious. And the 18-year-old, remember, he's feeling himself. You got to beat him down. You got to beat him down. So
Yep. Yeah, it's funny. I've had a couple of different careers in my adult life, and one of them was I owned a baking company. And so I used to make all of my kids' cakes for sure, and they have been spoiled by the level of cake that they have received. But yeah, that would be something that I would do. I would have multiple cakes for sure.
yeah. Well, I had quite a few jobs when I was coming up. My family was sharecroppers. I worked a little bit in that, and then my first career job was 16. I was working at a gas station.
Mhm.
Then I worked at a textile plant for a few years. Worked here and there, went to school for a little bit. I even had a job when I worked in a children's club. So, I used to have guys saying, "Man, you work at the club and now you're like, dude, it's not all that. It's not always sunshine and
Yeah,
rainbows. The girl's not making money. It's not a good
right.
night. Sometimes people act up. Sometimes we have fights. People might shoot. People get
Yep.
stupid in the club.
Yep.
We have a shot. Let me put my old man glasses on. My man Lawrence, he's here. He's been sticking out. Appreciate, brother. He says this. He makes a comment. He says, "I agree with your coach, and your arms speaks volumes." There you go, guys. You got to pose. So, you bodybuilding competition with the Olympia Andrea Shaw, Angelio, and List. Also, he says, "I appreciate your son's service, Miss Alli, and everything you do for your family so that can accomplish their goals in the world." And also, he says this, "Your legacy will change lives." And he says,
Oh,
"Amen." That's my man. He is. I call him the female bodybuilder whisperer.
too
So
kind. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. My number one job in this whole world is being a mom and being a great mom, and making sure that my boys go on to do great things. And I have every bit of confidence that they will. So it's, being a single mom is not super easy, but I have very high standards and they meet them. So
yeah, I know my mom was a single mother. She had to raise us. And one thing is, a woman can teach a boy to be an adult, but it's take a man to teach him to be a man. And they appreciate what you have done for them. Because I remember this, somebody told me, said, "George, you do what your mama's son?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, I do. Do what you got to do as a man. But always come home to your mama." Because
yep.
you know what? It's going to be the end of June. It's been 6 years since she passed. And I
Oh,
still think about her because
yeah.
she took care of me when I was going through my situations, and I have a pacemaker, and I took care of her, because I had nothing to do at the time, and it was just roaming around trying to look for a job, and I stepped up because that was my woman. So your coach, who's your coach? How long you been with him?
My coach is Blake Baumberger, and he's with Loud Performance Training. I have been with him for just over 3 years, and I started with him as a lifestyle client. And the way that I started with him, I go to Exile. That's my gym in Maryland, And one of the girls at the gym, who was the girlfriend of my one of my coaches there, who he's my technique coach, really. Um, his girlfriend was using Blake as her coach and was going to compete. And I kept seeing my gym post pictures of her on Instagram. And I finally saw her in person and I was like, you're my girl crush. Like, you look so phenomenal. Your physique looks amazing. Who is your coach? And she told me it was Blake. And I thought, all right, well, he knows what he's doing. Let's contact Blake. And initially I didn't feel like I was going to compete, but I felt like he could get me to a point where I could make a decision. Am I going to compete or am I just going to be a lifestyle client? So I started as a lifestyle client with him. And I think we both knew, but didn't say that I was headed in this direction. And I finally reached out, like, I'd been through I bulked with him, I cut with him, I bulked with him again. I tore my shoulder. So my shoulder has been injured off and on for multiple years. And I tore my rotator cuff benching several years ago. I tore my labrum deadlifting. And then I was out one evening and decided to arm wrestle because that's what I do. And I arm wrestled. I did win, though. I arm wrestled and with lefty because I was like, I'll just arm wrestle you lefty. You'll definitely win. I knew he wasn't going to win. I've been arm wrestling since I was a kid. And I won, but I felt it tear. So I tore my biceps tendon. So I had to go in and have a full reconstruction of my shoulder. So that put me off, and I was just a lifestyle client. But once I started coming back, I went through frozen shoulder, tons of therapy, like all kinds of stuff. Once I was finally able to start coming back and developing and realized, oh my God, now for years I wasn't able to develop my lats because nothing was working properly. Like everything was overcompensating. Traps were taking over, bicep was taking over. But now that everything was fixed, I was fully able to develop. And I was like, this is more than lifestyle. Let's compete. So I reached out to Blake and I was like, hey, I'm ready. He's like, hell yeah, you are. So that's the track that we've been on. We went through a full growth season. We did a little recomp, then we did a full growth season, and now here we are in prep.
Yeah, I remember that call saying like, yeah, what is it? Yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Let's go. Let's get it done, bitch. Yeah, yeah, that's
pretty much how it went.
Yeah. So, folks, what we're gonna do here, we have Alli here and we're talking with her. We're gonna jump into social media for a little bit. If you want to follow her, a link is in the description of this live. You want to reach out, support her. Again, bodybuilding is not a very lucrative sport, especially when you're a first timer. If you're someone interested in maybe helping out her process, sponsorship helps, or just maybe a good help of confidence. But guys, I'm gonna tell you this: she's a lovely lady. She's a nice lady. I know you guys out there because I know I am one of you guys. I am a muscle person. No, these ladies with muscles excite me. But again, guys, be cordial, be nice, don't be weird. No D pics, no weird stuff, none of that. I know you see ladies get pumped up and you get a little pumped up someplace else, but come on, stop it. Get some help, you sick freaks. So we're gonna jump into her social media for a bit. If you want to follow her, check the links out, support her, and reach out with genuine interest and support. So here she is. And there she is. This is here where she's working out here training. What is you feel like is your favorite workout when you're training?
I mean, come on, it's arms. It's arms, arms, chest and shoulder. Honestly, I love every day. Like I just had a leg day today. I'm trying to that was just last night. Back is also fun. I'm trying to baby my knee right now because it's been acting up. So I didn't do any squats or anything like that, but I'm still on leg extension and hand curls and all that stuff and doing lots of glute work. But I love every day. Honestly, I really enjoy it all.
Yeah, there's you with Shannon. She had death face on, the diet face.
Yes. Yes.
And she looked really impressive because I did watch the Toronto Super Show. It was about midnight when they finally finished it up. I mean, oh God. I mean,
that was a tough day. That was a tough day. And, it's like, and I don't know from her end, but she was depleted and she was, the whole mental game is tough. So the delays and miscommunications were really a challenge, not just for her, but for all of the athletes. So it was a challenging day, but I'm a very positive silver linings person. So I tried to, keep her cortisol down and make sure that I was doing my best that I could as a friend for her. So.
That's good. And people got to understand bodybuilding is, people think of it bodybuilding as a solo sport, but it does take a team between your coaches, training, working partners, posing coaches. There's so much involved in this sport. And I said again, this sport is not very lucrative as a competitor because, like other professional sports or even amateur sports, you can kind of make a living from it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is I did not get into this sport hoping to make a ton of money. I got into this sport because I truly love it. I love the grind. I love being able to say, I am dedicating the return. I posted something on my story today about return on investment. Like, I am the return on this investment. And that's really cool that you get to actually reap the benefits of this. It's not, and that's true of everything. Like, if I put a lot of time into my yard, then I'm going to have a beautiful yard. And if I put a lot of time into my house, I'm going to have a beautiful house. But this is me. This is my physical house. And to just be able to improve it, it's amazing. I went to a concert the other night with my son, and I always get a lot of comments and compliments when I'm out in public. And I love my shoulders and arms and back, and so I wear a lot of tank tops. But I have always worn a lot of tank tops. Like, I grew up in Florida. So I went to this concert the other night, and I had a tank top on, and this guy was walking toward me, and he gave me a fist bump. He's like, "Your physique is incredible." And I'm like, I'm just walking. I'm just a human walking through a concert. But the fact that other people can see how much time and intention and attention that I put into my physique, it's just cool. It's cool to be able to do that.
I think there's good people out who admires somebody's hard work and ethics and also consistency because to do this you need those things. Motivation is one thing. It can change with the wind. It can be,
Absolutely.
you can do one day, okay, I feel like I want to go for a run, but you can't run too much. One day you
Right.
feel like, what, like we had some nasty rain hit this morning, and
Mhm.
it's raining. I don't want to go anywhere. I want to wrap up my pillow and then my sheets and look outside. But yeah, that's the thing about finding yourself. And this is something where here she is, give a speech.
Hear it from me.
Oh, that's
I
just
know.
nice. I have an obsession with cowboy boots, so that was my clip there about my new boots that I got. Yeah,
Yeah.
bodybuilding is an obsession, and cowboy boots and music is an obsession as well.
What kind of music you like?
I mean, I love country. That's my preferred genre. The majority of the concerts that I go to, and I go to probably, I don't know, 4, 5, maybe 6 concerts a year. And they tend to be more country, but I also like indie music. I like pop. I like everything. So
Yeah.
as long as
I think
if it's live music, I'm gonna go.
I've never been to a live concert, other than maybe like something like church or something like that growing up. But
Really? Oh my goodness, it's my favorite. And that's why I love Nashville. You can go to any bar that you walk into, they have musicians there that are top caliber. And you can just walk one to the next to the next. And yeah, it's awesome. I love live music. If we're sitting at a restaurant and a band starts playing, I'm going to be fully attentive because that's just my jam.
I remember my older brother used to do DJ, and I remember one time my oldest nephew had a birthday party. He was DJ. He was pretty good. His nickname was DJ Bodyguard, and he was pretty good at it. My other nephew, he also does a little bit of it, not as much. But yeah, it's fun to be out and about and having a good time and enjoying yourself, especially you find something you like and love. Me, I'm kind of a homebody. I go out every now and then,
Yeah.
other than maybe just do my laundry and do some shopping. Most of the time, I'm at home half the time.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
I would definitely say that I have become more of a homebody over the last probably 2 years or so, but I love going out to, concerts. I love going out to explore towns. Gym field trips are one of my favorite things. Probably once a month, I go to a new gym and just explore it and, the town around it and just make a day of it. I love to hike and kayak and those sorts of things. So I'm a pretty active person, but I definitely, winter is tough. I definitely find myself at home quite a bit. When it gets dark at 4:30 in the afternoon, who wants to go out? So, and then being in prep, like I had a friend today who was like, "Oh, we should go out and get dinner," and I was like, "So here's the thing about that." I can't. I can bring my meal and we can sit and eat together, but going out to eat right now is not a possibility. So go out for coffee, absolutely. But yeah, so that limits my social interaction also. Going to a concert is great because I don't have to eat there. I can just get some water and we're good to go.
Yeah, I think that's the thing with we get into this bodybuilding lifestyle that it changes you and also how you move. Like one thing is you want to go to bed a little early so you can get up a little early so you can go to work out because you might have a job and you might be busy for the rest of the day, so you want to get your workout out of the way. Food is one thing, most importantly, because it's about the right food. You can't eat just anything. You have to
Right.
have food with like low carbohydrates, a little bit more fats. You want to have good, clean food. Like I know with Shannon, I saw that video you posted on your IG when she's eating the burger and the waffle
Yeah,
fries. I mean, and that's one thing. That's after the show
after the show.
because that's the thing is that that after that long prep and you be like, okay, I want something salty, something sweet, something.
Right.
With I remember I was watching this on with Sheena Oleg. She found this place. It was an Indian place. It was open at 2 o'clock, and
Mm,
I know it was tough. You had to waiting all day, night.
yeah. So it's interesting. I honestly, knock on wood, haven't really had any cravings for anything. My last burger was February 12th. I started prep February 13th. And that's what I wanted for my last meal was a burger and fries. And it was a burger with an egg on it and some truffle fries. And it wasn't excessive, but it was good. And that's what I needed. But I haven't craved that since then. And my calories are fairly low at this point. My macros are low. Um, but I'm managing very well, thankfully. And I don't know. I don't have any specific cravings right now. And I keep thinking about like, what am I going to have post show? Because you see all these people that are, eating brownies and cookies and chocolate bars and, whatever. And I might get one of the new heavyweight bars because those look phenomenal. Or I might just make something. Since I was a baker, I can make just about anything. Or just go to someplace local and get something. So I don't have any plans for what I want to do post show. My son asked me the other day, what do you want to do afterwards? What kind of meal do you want to have? And the only thing that I could think of was pancakes. I love me a pancake. I love pancakes. So that will probably be it. I don't know if we'll end up at a diner that night or if we'll go out the next morning, but that'll probably be it. Some sort of pancakes.
That made me think of again one of my favorite shows is Chappelle's show, the Charlie Murphy when they made Prince and they played basketball. It says and they served him pancakes, and that's a true story.
Yeah,
That's this sense. Wanting pancakes. Bitches. That's crazy. But not everybody does that. I think quite a few
right.
ladies, they say, you know what, they don't binge. I mean, one lady said
Yeah,
after the show, her and her husband sat in the room together. They drank some water. They watched some TV. They chilled out. Some women don't believe in the binging. They just say,
right.
maybe just have a little something and then I'll be all right. But that thing is because humans, we sometimes one thing is about it is that dealing with my mom, I found food is a comfort
Hmm.
because it's a lot. And I at one point right after she passed, I was almost 500 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And I made a decision that, you know what, I'm not getting any younger. I need to
Yep.
take care of myself. I started doing little things. I'm not perfect because, I do have some, desires. I try to eat smart, but then every now and then I have like a half an apple pie. It's it's little pies like, I bought
Yeah,
because sometimes we want something because, you just can't live off of bread alone, or just
right.
rice and broccoli. You want something with some flavor to it, some a little salt, a little sugar, something savory. And that's the thing is to learn to control.
Mhm.
those callings, and that's the hard part about it, especially when you're on a very strict diet and you're focusing on a goal, but you don't want to ruin that goal by having something that's not on your plan.
Exactly, exactly. And it's a balance, and it's a learned behavior. And I used food as comfort also. And then I was a baker, and I owned a scratch bakery, and I developed all of my recipes myself. So I had to taste everything. And that at that point, like, bakers work crazy hours. You work super, super early to super late. And I had a family, and I had to get kids to sports, and I had a dog and a house to manage, and all of those things. So my eating habits got crazy, and I gained a ton of weight. When my now ex-husband and I split up, I reclaimed my life, and I lost 70 pounds. I, started working out 5, 6 days a week. I significantly cut back on what I was eating because my portions were ridiculous. And I started eating clean. So that was in 2018. And I have been eating clean ever since then. And do I have my moments? Absolutely. Do I celebrate holidays? Sure. But like, for the most part, my diet is always super, super clean. Um, but it's something that I enjoy. And since I really love cooking, and I have always cooked, like since I was 4 or 5 years old, I've been taking cooking lessons, and I was making dinner for the family at like 8, 9, 10 years old. So I really, really enjoy cooking. And so this is not difficult for me because, I know a lot of people who just eat plain chicken, plain rice, plain sweet potatoes. I don't do plain. I do seasonings, I do sauces, like hot sauces, things like that. So everything that I do, I want it to be beautiful. I want it to be delicious. And it doesn't have to be picture perfect every time, but I mean, it sort of is like it's colorful, it's flavorful, and I feel like that's what allows me to get to this phase and not be tired of it, and not be like, oh my God, I have to eat another meal, or oh, I don't want. No, I enjoy it. I enjoy putting it together. I enjoy eating it. I enjoy telling people about it. I enjoy teaching people how to do it. And that's one of the things one of my best friends recently said, I don't understand how you have such little content on your page that relates to cooking and baking. Like, you're constantly cooking and baking. You need to show more of that. And I was like, you know what? I do. And I did. And it was wild. I had people DMing me like crazy. Oh my God, I love this recipe. I want you to post more. Like, this is so inspirational. I appreciate how you teach it. And being a teacher, it's easy for me to teach people how to do that stuff. So I imagine that there will be quite a bit more content on my page relating to different types of recipes that get me through, because people really, they enjoy that. They appreciate that.
I would say open such your own YouTube channel because I'm on YouTube. I mean, right now my channel. I've been doing this for about 8 years. My
Mhm.
channel's already 5,000 subscribers. I appreciate the people's support. I've done this without being monetized. I've done this with just being consistent, and you know what? It's a great platform. Still, even though it's getting a bit restricted in some areas. Like when I play the
Sure.
little video, I have to mute it real quick because any kind of little music, they always say, "Hey, yeah, that's
Right,
music."
right.
Yeah, but you know what? If you have something that works and people like, especially there's a lot of food influencers and content makers. One guy a while back, a lady who I interviewed and we still keep in contact. She sent me this video. This guy I follow, his name is Stefan, and he did a thing where he wrapped bacon around a honey bun, and he used a smoker. I don't have a smoker, so what I did was this: I took the bacon, I wrapped it, put it in my oven, and to make sure one thing is what I did was I put a pan under the oven so the grease can drop because it wouldn't burn the filament in the oven.
Mhm.
And I'll send you what I made. I got it on my phone. I'll send it to you. Look at it, see what it is. And it was something about it because the sugar and the salt and
Yeah.
from it was just something beautiful. I mean, it was just I just like I said, I'm a single man. I ain't got no woman. I ain't got no kids.
Right.
And I got a lot of free time since I'm at home most of the time.
Yep, I understand it. I understand it. And that's sometimes the best recipes come out of that ability to have some time. Like, I did one that was it was a chicken skewer. So you just take chicken, you coat it in a sugar-free honey mustard sauce, and then you wrap the bacon around that, stick it on a skewer, and put it on the grill. And something about that sweet and that salty and that savory and the smokiness from the grill, it's just phenomenal. And then you take them off the skewers, you can cut them up. They're great as appetizers. Delicious.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about food, guys. So you know what? We'll get back to the bodybuilding. So this is the thing. Yeah, that's all right. That's like I can't help it.
Food.
Yeah. I'm a fat man. I can't help it. It's just But yeah, the bodybuilding, it's a lifestyle that you have to be really dedicated to. And that's when people look at it from one aspect of it is that you're taking steroids and you're popping this and you're getting big for that. And this is what I've learned from my interviews, my conversations, people I've become friends with, people I've become friendly with, tell me that steroids is just part of the process. It's not the main part of it. It's only part of the growing of the process. It's used for recovery. And it's almost in everything, like from medical stuff to birth control to inhalers, but it's different level of steroids. And then people go back to look at these baseball players that did it a few years ago, these other athletes that do it. But the fact is, they get a little bit more leeway. But bodybuilders, you get that finger pointing at you all the time.
Right.
It's accusing finger because you use that.
It is an accusatory finger, no matter if you are natural or not. Yep.
Mm-hmm. I've seen some natural competitors that look as just as ripped and shredded, but not as huge because it takes a lot more time to do it naturally. Because if you're a hands competitor, you can put on maybe 20 more pounds within 6 months. It might take them just maybe 6 months putting on 3 pounds of muscle.
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
a slow process.
Well, and the thing is, I think that people automatically assume that if you have muscle that you're on steroids. And some people have a significant amount of muscle, including myself. So I didn't even start TRT until Easter. Period. So for me, this has all been built on my own. And I'm very, very proud of that. And I think that, the fact that people automatically point the finger at, you have big muscles, you must be on steroids is really, it's frustrating. It's frustrating, especially for people who like you don't have the option to not go to the gym and just take steroids and get big. You have to work your ass off. You have to be disciplined. You have to be dedicated. You have to be making your movements correctly. You can't move your body incorrectly. And I mean, yes, you can grow muscle, but like you have to be dedicated to how you're performing your sets and good muscle movement. I think that there's so much that goes into it that people are just ignorant to, and they just immediately point the finger, say, oh, you have big muscles, you must be on steroids. And it's frustrating, but I'm sure there are people with significantly larger muscles that have been in this field for a significantly longer amount of time that have dealt with it more than I have. But, breaking into the sport, that is a frustration for sure. And people on social media, the keyboard warriors that feel that they can just say anything without repercussion. And I don't have a whole lot of tolerance for that. So I will immediately cut you off, correct you, and block you. Like, I am a human being, and I am a mom, and I am a professional, and I have standards, and you don't talk to people that way. Like, would you go out in public and say to someone what you've just said online? No, then don't say it. And I actually posted a story last week about that because it's frustrating. And you get to the point where, I try not to let anybody rattle me. But when you come on and you're on my page and you're calling me names and say, just keep scrolling, Bubba. You don't have to comment on my post. You don't have to say anything. You can just keep on going. But the feeling that they have to say something, that's frustrating.
That's what I learned, because you know what? That thing is, the haters. You have enough energy to say that. That means you took it out of your life to talk about somebody who doesn't care what you say or what, we don't care what I do, how I move. Like when I post stuff, like on because I do most of my stuff is on female bodybuilding, and when I post stuff, like some guys, most of my guys who go on there, they love it, they comment on it, they like the ladies, but then you have these assholes who want to talk about that's a dude, yeah. What I'm looking at. Why do you spend the time to talk about it? You can just move on. It's so easy to do, but the problem is they can't. They feel like that thing is. I say this. God bless the haters, because you know what? You hate so much, but I care so little. And for you haters, you're my energy. You fuel me. You, as my other guys, you I want to say this. He said, "Give me a second. Come on." He says, "You complete me." So and that thing is, if you have the energy to hate on something you don't understand, that's
Yeah.
on you, not on me. Shout out to my man here, KL the Wanderer. He's also a content maker. He's a fan of the women with muscle. He says this comment says, you are a natural bodybuilder. Like she said, she does TRT, so that's not natural.
Up until Easter, yes.
Yeah. Also, he says this. Shout out to my man. I put my old glasses for a second. He says, how long it took you to get big like that?
So I have been lifting consistently since 2018. But before that, I had plenty of muscle before that. It was just that I was madly out of shape, and had quite a bit of fat on top of that muscle. So once we started shedding that and really dedicating the time to working out 5, 6, 7 days a week, that's when it all started to grow. And like I said, after my shoulder reconstruction, that's when my upper body really started to develop.
I know I get asked, but there's a lot of dirty laundry on top of it. So Also, he says do you compete in NPC?
I will be competing in August, my first show in NPC, yes.
Yeah, so she's not yet an MC competitor, but she's on that way. And we
Yep.
go back to again about the cost of being a competitor, because as an amateur, there's expenses from your coach expenses, your posing coach expenses, your travel expenses, food, your gear you use, your training, you have to. One thing is the suits for y'all ladies. You have to
Yes.
wear these nice bedazzled suits. For the guys, gotta wear a pair. They put a pair of banana hammocks and a
Yeah.
pair of old shorts.
Yep. Yeah, so that is something that I have, since I go to a gym where most of the people that train there are bodybuilders, powerlifters, strongmen. So there are a lot of people in my circle of influence who have been able to instruct me along the way and mentor me. This is what you're going to need. A friend of mine who competed a year and a half ago, actually had a spreadsheet, and she was like, okay, this is everything that I spent, from, supplements to coaching fees to pictures on show day. Like, this is everything. And I was like, holy crap, it is a lot. So I started saving for that before I ever told my coach I was going to be a competitor. So I had considered it. And I do this thing with my savings where I create a little savings account and I just start funneling money into it without thinking about it. So I started saving for it a while ago because, the actual stage suit, the hair, the makeup, the nails, the jewelry, the tan, all of that is a lot. And then if you're traveling locally, then you don't have airfare. But a friend of mine is coming in town next weekend for Maryland Muscle, and he's got to fly in. He's not renting a car because I was like, I have a car, but like, that's a consideration. You've got those travel expenses, and then food when you're out of town, if you haven't packed it all with you. Like, Shannon and I went to Toronto, and we both brought coolers and bags, and we had all of our food with us so that we could just prep what we needed as we went. But sometimes you don't have that luxury because you're flying overseas. So then you have to factor in your food expenses and travel to and from the show and to tanning and to get your makeup done. And it can be a lot. It can be a lot. And then you add in supplementation and like peptides, and my coach has me on several different things for energy and recovery, and it's pricey. It's pricey. And then, added just your regular supplements for liver health and for kidney health and for all, like, there's just so much stuff, and it gets pricey for sure. But it's something that I have allowed myself, some wiggle room with by saving for it early. Yeah, that's a challenge.
And then you're empty nester. You don't have to worry about taking care of. Well, still the kids are like, Mom, do you think you got $20 I can borrow?
Right.
Yeah, Mom, Mom, are you cooking today, Mom? Because they're about grown, but still, every boy. There's a quote from a classic movie, Psycho says, a boy's best friend is his mother. So
Yes. Yes, and my oldest being home for the summer, God love him. I mean, love him, but the boy can eat some protein. Like, I prep chicken and shrimp and, ground turkey and ground beef and steak, and I have sweet potatoes and rice and all kinds of veggies in the fridge. And then I come home and I'm like, what is happening? Yeah. So you go through a lot of food. I go through a lot of food as a single, like when there's no other people here, when it's just me. So when he's here too, yep.
It's like watching. You remember your Garfield cartoons? He's like,
Yes. Yes, for sure. And he's my oldest is very, very health conscious, and he weighs out all of his meals. He's not competing, but he sees me doing it. He weighs out all of his meals. He measures everything. And, but yeah, but he's a boy and he eats more than me. So
yeah. This thing is, as children, we learn from our parents. They are the ones who set the standard for us. We learn what we need to do in this, in life, in this world, or how we need to move as adults. And I think that's the thing, inspiring your children to have healthy choices. I know some ladies, sometimes we have younger children, they say, Mommy, I don't eat that. Can you give me some chicken nuggets and mac and cheese? And
right,
so sometimes you gotta, I know ladies who have children who's as young as 7, 8 years old and bodybuilders, and they still have to cook their food separate. Then I know some ladies who the kids eat just like them on prep because that really inspires them. I know, your boys love you and they support you. I know that most definitely you want your son to be at your show. And be saying, yeah, that's my mom. Both of them, that's my mom on the stage. And they said, that big buff woman, yeah. I'll be your happy. Say, hey, man, that's my mom.
He gets a lot of comments. He gets a lot of comments. I mean, he's in college, so people see me pop up on their feed and they'll be like, is that your mom? Or I'll go to an event down at Auburn and they'll be like, your mom is jacked. And he's like, I know.
hey, man, your mom's coming over to visit? Yeah, I just,
right.
Hey, Miss Matson, I heard you have shoulder. You want a shoulder rub? I mean, I'm studying anesthesiology, so,
right. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of attention, and it's cool. Like I went to my youngest, his graduation, and people that hadn't seen me in maybe 6 months or 9 months or so, and now I'm lean. I was in my bulk then. They were like, "Oh my God, Alli!" I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, it's just what I do."
Well, I think everybody has different reaction. I think with children, they are so curious because children have pure hearts. They look at you and say, "Wow, are you a superhero? Are you
Right?
Wonder Woman?" I think the worst is sometimes older folks, especially when you look at like what about you? Your parents are still around?
No, they're not.
Yeah, sorry. And I'm orphan too myself.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think I've talked to ladies where they talk with that like the mom would say like, sweetheart, I don't want you to get so muscly.
Right.
Man, you already got 2 babies, so you're good.
Right.
And then your father might say, well, darling, you already got 2 brothers. I need another boy.
Right.
Because that's for them, they're a different generation. But they will support you because you're their child. They want you to see to something. And that's
Absolutely.
good.
Absolutely. Yeah. When we were up in Toronto, Shannon's dad was there, and I mean, he couldn't be any more supportive of a human. And Shannon's got an awful lot of muscle, an awful lot, but yeah, there's no negativity. It's all love there. It's awesome.
That's good because that's important because this sport can be mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially draining on any human who gets involved in it. There's a lot to it. You're still, you're not there yet. You're just a few steps from the stage, and the presentation of this sport, the work ethic. Like when people don't understand, like as y'all competitors, you get ready for the shows. You're hungry, you're hangry, you're dehydrated, you're tired. But then you get on that stage and you are in front of a bunch of people and you have judges looking at you and you're in your most conditioned. And there's old school saying, we really rock hard, we're rock hard. But it's just something about it because you know what? It shows the dedication y'all put into this. Even though it's like I hear stories of frantic back there, like stories where you can't use deodorant because of how it might interact with your tanning, stuff that's going on. When it can be a lot for any person. Was you backstage with Shannon doing?
No, I wasn't backstage with her, but I was pretty much right up to that point. So I was with her all day on show day where we were back at the Airbnb and she was posing and eating and then posing and then eating. And yeah, it was actually really cool for me to see how those last moments of prep go. Because, I understand peak week and all that and how that moves, but I've never been with someone on show day as they were being refed and, then having to check in. And, it was a pretty cool process for me to be able to see, because I know that that's going to be something similar for me.
Yeah, it's a different experience for anybody. Don't mind the noise. I have neighbors at party. It's June 18th in the neighborhood, so I wish I had headphones on, but we're having difficulties with hearing me. So
No
we do
worries. I
this.
can't even hear it.
Yeah, but yeah, that's the thing about it. See what these competitors go through, be it an amateur, being a pro, seeing the process. Especially you're still, as my man Jerome from Mark would say, still wet behind the ears and breath, so I like Similac.
Right. Yeah. No, that's for sure. I mean, I still have a lot to learn in a very short period of time. And I keep saying, I don't know what I don't know. And I won't find that out until I get really, really close to the end here. So I am continuing to evolve as a bodybuilder in the sport, and it's only going to get better. I'm going to learn an awful lot in this next 6-7 weeks. So I'm looking forward to that part of the process for sure.
Yeah, and it's a process. It's a process that you either love it or hate it. Understanding all the factors involved in it, from the growth, from the diet to the training. And like you said, you have your favorites. And what's that one training you say to yourself? You know what? Shit, what I got to do it today? I don't. I know most definitely it's leg training.
I mean, I think legs are just generally so much more than anything else. Like some people say it's back, and I go hard on all of my workouts. So I feel like all of them are taxing. And I usually, like, sometimes I'll finish arm day and be like, oh, I'm going to throw up. Like, and that's a lot. That's a lot to be like, I'm going to throw up from an arm day. But I feel like I have a limited amount of time in order to do what I need to get the best look on stage. So I'm going to put every bit of effort into every single training session. And I think that that's one of the reasons that, my coach enjoys working with me, because every day I get up and I say, all that I need to do today is exactly what Blake tells me to. And I tell him that all the time. Like, that's all that I have to do. So for me, it's actually pretty easy, because he tells me exactly what exercises that I need to do in what order. And he tells me exactly what food that I need to eat in what order and when, and what supplements to take. So all I have to do is follow a script. That's it. That's the easy part. But for a lot of people, that's not the easy part. Following that script is not the easy part. Sticking to the plan is not the easy part. But for me, you tell me what to do and I'm going to do it. And I think that makes my coach's life easier. It makes our relationship a lot better. So you tell me to do it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, and you want that good relationship with your coach. Sometimes it's all depending on how you grow as a person. Sometimes you start with that coach, and then you know what? Let me do somebody who can maybe work with me, maybe work my aesthetics, especially with women, because women, you are built different. This is to quote man Conan. He says, what is important in craft, Conan? To crush your enemies, to do it for you, and hear the lamentation of the women. And women, y'all are the ones who bear our children. Y'all take care of our homes. Men's purpose of life is to battle, bleed, and die. That's it. But then you find something that really interests you. And bodybuilding is a sport where, again, most people don't understand it. It's something that's different. It's out of the norm. If you look at other sports right now, you were there in Toronto. There was the fever was going wild. Yeah. Soccer's a big, I'm American. We grew up here in the country. We like football. We're football. Yeah, American football. Don't fix that little kicky little thing with got little shorts. But I play football. My brother played football. But I think everybody finds something in sports that they like. I mean, as a kid that grew up, I used to love watching basketball, baseball, and football like that. But then, I kind of grew out of it. But doing this content with bodybuilding. I am even going to shows and meeting people, because I'm planning to go to a show in a few months myself. And, it's an opportunity to reach out to people. What drives anyone to do this sport, like from it, and what fuels their and what inspires them. Because you know what? That's why I saw your post and stuff like that and said, you know what? Let me reach out to her, because I want people to hear your story. You're not just this big muscular woman. You are a mom. You are a friend. You're a businesswoman, is there any other careers you do, or is just focused on the bodybuilding?
So I am in workforce development, and I work for the Primary Care Association for Maryland and Delaware. So my goal is to assist our federally qualified health centers in finding qualified staff and keeping those staff. So I'm a relationship person. I teach people how to find the best people and how to keep them. So that is my career and that's my full-time job. I love it. I'm good at it. I really enjoy it. I'm passionate about it. And, that's my number one. That's how I fund this adventure. Would I love to do bodybuilding or something in the fitness industry full time? Absolutely. And maybe at some point that'll open up for me and I'll be able to do something within the fitness industry. I don't know what it will be. But yeah, I would love to do that. I worked in health education for 20 years. I owned a baking company and now I'm on my third career in workforce development.
Well, you know what? I know ladies who were working corporate for a long time and then they transition out of it into the fitness world. As you know, you do a lot of cooking. You can also be a nutritionist. You know,
Yep.
what people prep for their food because most definitely food is part of the process as a bodybuilder.
Absolutely.
It helps you grow. You know, the right foods to help you grow. You don't want to. I know some days again, you be like, "What's that? What's that? Who's cooking this?" Because it won't be long for it's the 4th of July.
Right.
Barbecue is kicking
Yep.
up. I mean, the neighbors say, "Hey, Alli, we having steak on. If you want to come over," say, "Nah, Jim, I can't do it right now. I don't want to ruin my prep." Be that. No, 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 no. Like
Right.
the cartoons, remember the little,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of temptation for sure. But I mean, there's a lot of opportunity for growth within the health and fitness world as far as careers go. And if it's meant to be, it'll find me. It'll find its way into my life. But right now, I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I'm enjoying the bodybuilding process. I'm enjoying my personal life. All is well.
Yeah, you got to enjoy this because you know what? This sport, like again, it's not a lucrative sport. It's more of a hobby. It's also a bit of a discipline. And shout out to my man KL. We talk about that quite often. That it's a discipline compared to any other sport.
Yes.
And the dedication, the persistence, the discipline, motivation not so much, but you know what, discipline is very important because you
Yeah.
know what, it can be easy to get derailed by things that happen in life. But if you are determined that you want to know, I want to be in that stage someday. I want to be on that stage for my first time, and maybe even be on stage and become an IB pro. Maybe be on stage, go to the Olympia and stand shoulder to shoulder with people like Andrea Shaw, or Ashley Jones, who I also met when I was in Tampa,
Yeah.
or just to be along with those people. We as amateurs you start from the bottom, then you become a pro. You sit out from the bottom, but you enjoy the process as you go along, as you grow, as you develop.
Absolutely. And I think that what's so cool about social media and having the opportunity to learn about these different bodybuilders that are so successful in the field is learning what they do to be so successful. Obviously, they're all disciplined and, they feel the same way about motivation. Motivation wanes. You can't rely on that. But there are certain things that you do to set yourself up for success. And I've learned a lot from these women that are in bodybuilding, that are successful in bodybuilding, about how to conduct myself and how to prepare and how to, like one of Hunter's things is keep your promises. You make promises to yourself, keep them. And, I have a little card on my mirror that says something to the effect of, every choice that you make takes you further away from or closer to your goal. What choices are you making? And so every single choice that I make, I have to think about that. Like, am I going to weigh out 32 grams of almond butter or am I going to just take a spoonful? No, I'm going to weigh it out because that's what my coach says to do. And that's what's going to help me be successful. Hunter posted something recently and I was like, I do that too. That's so great that I'm already thinking that way. But she said, like, every night she lays out exactly what she needs for the next morning so that she can be successful and just move through. So all of her supplements, all of her food, her outfit for the next day, everything is laid out. And I thought, okay, I'm already doing that. I'm on the right track. Like it's the steps that you take in order to be successful that is going to show whether or not you can be successful. And if you're not taking the steps, it's going to be a lot harder for you. So I am a big believer in do what's best, not what's easiest. And it is not easy to put together all of your supplementation, your morning meal, your outfit, all of that stuff. But you do it because you want to be successful and you don't want to have any excuses. Oh, I didn't have time. Oh, no, we are not going to do that. We are going to lay it all out. We're going to take the extra 15 minutes at night, get it all done, and then you can get up and go and be successful.
Mm-hmm. The thing that it's good to be prepared when you get into this. Prep time is the most important part of as a bodybuilder because you want to take that time. I know there's so many hours in a day, but if you can find a little piece of that time to focus on your goals and to work and also to train and to diet, it can be easy. I think most people they get too much involved and too much stuff trying to, run too many irons at the same time. But
Yes.
if you're somebody who's really disciplined and dedicated and you are aware of your time, you can really do well for yourself.
Absolutely. And I think being aware of the time is probably the biggest thing because this takes a lot of time, especially when you're in prep. So I have my cardio and I had to split up my cardio because I'm doing so much. So I do fasted cardio and then I usually do my training in the evening and then I add the rest of my cardio after that. Then there's, the time that it takes to shop for food, to cook your food, to prep your food, like all of that stuff, your outfits, doing your laundry, because I have an absurd quantity of laundry with, 2-a-days. And there's and that's just the bodybuilding stuff, getting all of your supplements. I have a weekly thing that has all of my, Monday through Sunday supplements and sorting those every week. And then organizing, I have another little container that has all of my, creatine and BCAAs and all that stuff that I have set up for the week. And that all takes time. But, the more that you can dedicate to that and be aware of, okay, I know that I need to set aside this amount of time for this, the more successful you can be. And I mean, I think that's the bottom line. You have to make the choice to be successful.
Mm-hmm. That's it. That's the choice you got to make. So, folks, we're not going to hold Alli too much longer. I mean, again, we were always talking about this, but then things happen. So I say, what, let's just go ahead and do it. But you know what? I do appreciate the time she's given me. Her stories really is, I think, for anybody who's thinking about getting bodybuilding, it's really something. This is information you can use to fuel your plans. What works for her may not work for you. You can figure out what works for you. It's like anything. Everybody's different. Everybody's built different. Everybody, I know young lady says she don't eat rice anymore because she has some issues with her digestion. She has to find something else substitute. I know ladies sometimes, like I say, what you say with your foot, you can't do too much stairmaster incline. You found something to help out with that. It takes information that helps you to grow as a person, as a competitor. So, and also, again, guys, it does cost money to be a bodybuilder. Just saw shout out to a lady who is trying to compete. Her name is Donna Jones. She's doing a GoFundMe. I'm going to post it later. I was going to do something. I'm so busy because I'm working on some stuff. I will post it on my social media later, and y'all can tag her and reach out to her. But if you're someone interested in helping Alli in her process, and it's something that's genuine, but not like, hey, Alli, I see you got those big shoulders, those boulders. Yeah, and your kids are not home. No, you sick freak. Stop it. This is a lady. This is what you do. This is how you do it. Being professional. And I'm going to put on my professional glasses. Mrs. Matson, we saw your interview with Always George Page. He's a very interesting young man. We would like to possibly work with you in your process of bodybuilder. We have a product that maybe help you out. If it's something that you don't feel comfortable about using, we'll find that. But if it's something you feel like you can use in your process, we'd like to be one of our ambassadors. So if you feel like this relationship is something that's beneficial to you, it's beneficial to us, and I hope maybe in the future we can set something up. So would you be interested in that, madam?
Absolutely.
All right. And then the other guy says, sign the contract, baby. So yeah, that's the thing. I wish it could happen, but I know, no, that's but maybe I'm optimistic. I'm sometimes a bit of pessimist. I'm a Scorpio. I'm a kind of mixed culture.
Yes.
So the last question I want to say to you, what would you want for yourself out of bodybuilding?
What do I want to achieve through bodybuilding? Or, gosh, I mean, I want to be the best that I can be. It's interesting because even though I know I have musculature and I am a big girl and I could potentially have a future in bodybuilding, I don't necessarily see what everybody else sees. So when I have people stopping me and saying, oh my gosh, your physique is phenomenal and you have a, definite future, and they're people that are pros and people that are coaches, it's really exciting to me. And that's what Toronto was for me. It was very exciting. So I want to see how far I can go. I want to take the stage and see what the experience is. I want to be able to enjoy every single bit of it. I want to be able to soak in as much as I can and learn as much as I can about the process. And I want to go as far as I am able to.
Yeah, I would say this is with quite a few conversations. They put me out. Bodybuilding is not a race; it's a marathon. It's about taking the time. There's been some people, especially young people, they want everything quick, fast, in a hurry. It
Right.
doesn't work like that. It
No.
takes time to grow and develop as a bodybuilder. You don't want to, burn yourself out. You want to, take the time to absorb the information and to use it to benefit you as an athlete. Be smarter. Work hard, but not, work smart, but not harder.
Right.
Take the time. If you feel like you want to step back for a minute, say, let me step back and think about what I want to do, then that's good. If you feel like that you want to say, I want to go on this all in. I'm dedicated to it. I want to see and grow and see how I improve. Yeah, that's good too. But like I said again, it's a process. It's about
Mhm.
understanding the factors of growth, development. What works for one person may not work for you, and also just taking your time and also learning how your body works as a bodybuilder.
Absolutely, absolutely, and enjoying it. I think, I've gotten some really good advice from my mentors that are bodybuilders, and they told me very early on, don't get caught up in prep and everything that prep is. Enjoy it. Like take the time, make the mental space for it. I'm big on gratitude and meditation, and they said, don't give that up. Like, make sure that you're continuing to do that. And I do my daily reading and like continue to do all the things that are going to mentally prepare you and get you comfortable with the process of prep, and then just soak it in and enjoy it. And that's what I've been trying to do. I have a phenomenal relationship with my coach. We are symbiotic, and I think that that is a significant part of it. I have an incredible support system, people that I can call and text and message at any point in time, and they will be 100% dead on balls, accurate, honest with me. And I love that. I'm not a sugar coated kind of person. I'm a straight shooter, and I respect that from other people. So being able to have coaches and pros in the field that are telling me, no, like, this is what you just focus on this, eye on the prize, keep on going. You look great, whatever. Or you look like shit, Allie. You need to tone this up and, get your mind right. Like, I appreciate that as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm set up for success right now. I'm very, very happy with where I am.
That's good. People like your coach and Shannon in your corner, your kids in your corner. I mean, that's it is. And again, for the haters out there, again, you can hate so much, but we care
Yep,
so little. Use that energy to get your weight up, to step up.
exactly.
If you have an issue with a woman with muscle, there's some, hey, again, as a man, and I'm a man now. And I'm a Southern gentleman, and I think she's a lovely lady. But as the other guy, he says this, and he says this, he tells you that you are beautiful. I'm sorry about him. I'm seeing a specialist. We're trying to merge our personalities together.
Oh, good.
So we're not going to hold this too much longer. You have anybody you want to shout out to while you got you here?
I mean, all my friends, all my gym folks, my coach, my boys for sure, my new dog. Uh, yeah, no, I am a blessed human. I have a lot of really good people in my life, and I am grateful for every single one of them.
That's good. That's good. It's good to have, you got your boys, you got your babies supporting you, you got people like Shannon, your coach, and people that around you. The other people, whatever they have to say does not matter.
Nope.
If you don't have the energy, if you can have the energy to come out here and talk about a woman, then use that energy as something else. I mean, sometimes it frustrates me. It frustrates me because but again, I'm just an outsider. I'm just a fan. And I wish there was more. opportunities. Like bodybuilders should be, maybe more financially lucrative for the competitors, even as the amateurs should be more care for your athletes, and also respect and understanding what it is to take to be a bodybuilder in this sport. It is a sport. I remember we used to catch it on network television. We did a little thing Monday. Me and my friends talked about a show called American Muscle, which is a very popular magazine. We talk about bodybuilding. Now you can catch cornhole and bubblegum chewing on ESPN 8.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, those are different sports for sure. It's interesting. Like, I mean, everyone that is a competitor has a certain level of expectations that they have to meet for themselves. I feel like bodybuilding is a wee bit different. I mean, you got your sleep, you got your cardio, you got your training. Like, there's so much that goes into it. I don't know. I feel like everybody has their own level of greatness that they have to achieve for their sport, but bodybuilding, it's your whole life. It is your whole life. And I love it. And I don't think I would change it.
Well, man, do what you do. Enjoy your process. And also, again, this is why I do these interviews, to get people to understand what it is that inspires women like yourself, and to support y'all in your path. Again, I wish I can do more, but I do have a small channel, and I do like to get the opportunity for y'all to share your stories. Maybe somebody out there, you never know, there might be a woman out there saying, you know what, if she can do it, I can do it. Or not just a woman, a man. You never know.
Anybody. And I actually have had multiple people reach out to me and tell me that, like, I feel like I want to try this because this is something that you did. You were a single mom, you were coming back out, a 70-pound weight loss and getting back into fitness, and now you're here, and that's something that I can do too. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. I'm not special. I'm just dedicated, and I'm committed, and I am disciplined. So if you can be dedicated, committed, disciplined, and you want change, anything is possible. Anything.
All right. Well, ma'am, I appreciate for your time. I wish you the best of luck. And she's going to be competing in August 8th, and that is the Jay Cutler show.
That is the plan. Yes, sir.
That's the plan. Again, my other guy says, I don't have a plan, Alli. I'm just a dog chasing cars. I don't know what to do when I get one,
You gotta have a plan. Gotta have a plan. But thank you, George. I appreciate you. I appreciate the opportunity to come on here and chat with you. And hopefully this makes a difference for somebody.
I hope so too. Maybe someday we get to meet.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to go to shows. It's expensive, especially if you're not a bodybuilder. Because I was thinking about going on a plane, but the cost of everything and planes and flights. And, oh my God! So my show, I'm going by train to my next show. So I've done it before. So it takes a lot of time, but it saves a few more dollars.
Well, and spectator tickets are not cheap. Like just to go and be a spectator and watch a show can be anywhere from $50 to $125 or more. So that's a consideration too.
Yeah, because I remember when I went to Tampa, I had to make a choice. I wanted to see my friend Eunice because she was doing Matson's, and there were some ladies that were doing open that I've interviewed and also that I knew. So I had to make a choice. I said, how much is the difference? Because there's a difference between if you're going to do just regular seats or you're going to do the VIP. And I remember my first show I went to, and at the time I was doing pretty good. It was reasonable, but then time changed. Things get higher, especially the cost, And I think one thing we're trying to get people to come, because I remember some competitors you get tickets for free for competitors, but now they don't do that anymore. But that's how it is. It's a business.
Yeah. It definitely is. Definitely is.
So, folks, we'd like to thank Alli for coming through. Appreciate her. Shout out to Shannon. We hope for her future in the sport. Maybe we get to see her some more. Maybe if not this year or next year. So, Thank you, Amanda. I appreciate for your time.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you.
All right. Anyway, folks, email our George Page, aka the Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't subscribe, Good night, good luck, God bless, and happy Juneteenth.